All right. Assalamu alaikum. Thanks for tuning in to the Community Defender Talk Show. One powerful hour of truth, dispelling falsehood. I'm your host, Brother Daryl Muhammad, and we are very happy that you have chosen to join us on the Community Defender. Now, what we like to do on this show for the past 26 years is to keep it 100, as we say, right? And what we like to do is to give the truth to you straight, without any filter, without any chaser. As you know, according to our topic, and as you know through observation, anecdotally and statistically, that we have a crisis in the educational system. Many people say the educational system is broken, and some people say it's doing what it's designed to do, which is to keep you from the prosperity that knowledge brings. But we have in our studio, remotely, of course, is our wonderful brother who is no stranger to the Community Defender, Brother Abdul Muhammad, who I guess he was given a great trial in the 2.5 decades of work that he has done in the city of Chicago with Black children. He was unjustly dismissed from a place where he was doing a marvelous job and from a place that he was supremely qualified. This is a brother that I know personally. This is a brother who I remember from Southern University. But moreover, this brother is a national phenomenon as it relates to education and education leadership. He was, of course, the Teacher of the Year in Chicago, which is just an awesome award to get. And the brother has so many accolades that I just couldn't even name them all. So I definitely want to introduce our brother Abdul Muhammad. Welcome to the Community Defender.
Assalamu alaikum, my brother, and thank you for having me on the show. And I would like to thank your guest for having me on the Community Defender show. So hopefully this will be one powerful hour of truth in a world of complete falsehood. You know, brother, the miseducation of Black people is real, as Carter G. Woodson wrote the book entitled The Miseducation of the Negro, because education, as we're taught by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the honorable minister Louis Farrakhan, that it comes from a Latin root, which means to bring out or to bring forth, because real education is designed to bring out what God has deposited within. But the education that we have received as Black people in America has been an education to make us better tools of service of white supremacy. And whenever an educator stood up to give Black people knowledge that would bring out the gifts, skills, and talents that are deposited, that have been deposited within the human being by God himself, then the enemy of Black people has always worked against the one that will come to educate our people so we can exercise freedom, justice, and equality. And like you said, my brother, I've been an educator for my entire adult life. I graduated from Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I've been educating Black children since the day I graduated from Southern University. So for the last 30 years of my life, I have dedicated my life to the education of Black children in the city of Chicago. And as you stated, I've been blessed to receive many honors, many accolades, many awards in my 30-year sojourn for education, including the Teacher of the Year Award for the city of Chicago. And I was nominated twice for the Golden Apple, which is the most prestigious award that an educator can receive. And I was also featured in Who's Who among American high school teachers 4 or 5 consecutive times. So these are just some of the accolades that I have done and the work that I have done in the most challenging environments in Chicago. Now, many of your listeners, they hear about Chicago. They hear this, they hear that. Yeah, Trump's going to send the National Guard because things are so out of control in Chicago that Trump has to bring everything back in control, which is a myth. But your listeners have a view of Chicago that has been painted by the mainstream media. And my point is that I, for the last 30 years of my life, have gone into the most challenging schools in Chicago. And I've been blessed to transform those schools from the most challenging environments to where Black children can get the education that their tax dollars are paying for. So this is the work that I've done for the last 25 years, specifically in Chicago public schools. And this is the reason that those who do not want Black children to be properly educated attack me with all manner of lies and falsehoods so that I could no longer do the work that I've done for the last 25 years, specifically in Chicago public schools, which we'll get into. But I just wanted to kind of give some background on some of the work that I've done in the city of Chicago. Every place that I've walked into, I've been blessed to transform that place from fights every day or multiple fights in one day to where we eliminated that altogether, to where the education was subpar and we increased the graduation rates, we increased the attendance rates, we increased the attendance rate, we increased the test scores. So this has been my work that I've done for the last 25 years.
Bro, I'm gonna say this: all praise is due to Allah. I'm very glad that Allah blessed you to get in that school and to show forth the love that you show to the students. And of course, what has happened to you, like what happened to the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, like what happened to Malcolm X, is a systemic thing.
Absolutely.
When X wanted to be a lawyer, they told him his own people wouldn't trust him and he'd be a good carpenter. So they steered him away from being a lawyer. When the Honorable Louis Farrakhan said he wanted to be a doctor, the white teacher said, your own people won't trust you, but you play the violin beautifully, steering people away from where they were in a systematic way. And even here in the city of Baton Rouge, an award-winning Black principal was relieved of their command of the school after bringing order to the school, basically behind just allegations from them folks to get that award-winning and very stellar Black principal out of that school. And it appears, not appears, but the actual facts of it is that's the same thing that you've been stricken with, a part of a systematic removal.
100%.
Black leadership in education.
Absolutely. So, brother, what I have come to see in, because I've done a lot of podcasts, television shows, radio shows, and Black educators from around the country have reached out to me. And I'm finding out that the same thing happened to them is what happened to me. And so this is what they're sharing with me. There is an attack on Black educators all throughout the country who come into the school system and transform the educational experience of Black children. Now, we need white people to make up their minds about what they want. Either you want us to be educated and pull ourselves up by the bootstrap and do something to improve our communities and stop all the madness, or you want the madness to continue. Don't on the one hand say, why aren't you doing anything? Why aren't you minimizing the violence? Why aren't you teaching the boys to pull their pants up? Why don't you focus on, don't on the one hand say that, and then in the very next breath start to spew out lies to the one that comes to get the brothers to pull their pants up, to get the young people to take their education serious, to get them to come to school on time, to stop them from getting F's and D's and to start to get A's and B's. White people, we need you to make up your mind about what you want, because you have Black educators all throughout the country who have gone into the system to do what, not what you think needs to be done, but what we know needs to be done. And all we need you all to do is get out of our way so that we can do what we have been trained to do, and that's educate our children and make a better product than the public school system has been making all of these years. And so, you know, brother, I have in Chicago public schools specifically, a 25-year track record of transformation. But the thing is that the people in power, they do not want our schools to be transformed, because people in whatever happens because the person in power wants it to happen. They either cause it to happen or allow it to happen. But if you have the power, then you make happen what you want to happen. The reason that I was able to transform all of these schools is because I had the power. So I used the power that I had to bring about the transformation that was needed for Black children. So we don't want, you know, I know you down there in Louisiana, brother, and you know, the conservative white people would be like, you know, you all need to get in these schools to do something. Well, we're in the schools and they're fighting us down there with the conservative white people where you are in Louisiana. And then the so-called liberal white people in Chicago, they have the same exact mindset as those people that you face down there in Louisiana. So like you said, brother, it's a systemic problem because at the root of it, we do not want Black children properly educated. And that's the threat.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I do know, and of course we know, you know, it's a matter of public record that a suit has been filed. So there are some things that you can say, but
Absolutely.
there are things that we will touch on, and I believe what's available for us to talk to our viewing audience about will be substantial and enough
Yes,
to get us the understanding. And there may be other Black principals, Black administrators, even in Louisiana and throughout the 5 parishes of this broadcast and beyond, that may have experienced something similar. And so I would like you to kind of just tell your story. And of course, we know that you had been the subject of numerous, not numerous, but other investigations, other issues with the Chicago Public Schools prior to this issue. But of course, this is the issue of you being at the school called Limblom, I believe it is, right?
yes, sir.
It's a selective admission institution,
Right.
one of the best schools in Chicago. So this was going to be the first time, I guess, that you were brought into a situation where there was some academic foundation on which you could kind of walk and move around. But instead you found, you know, apathy and a bunch of corruption and discrimination against you because of your faith.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Yes, sir. So, brother, what again, I have been an educator for 25 years in Chicago public schools, and I never had an issue in any school until I got to this school called Limblom. The other schools that I was at, you know, we transformed those schools. You know, we were blessed to go in there and transform those schools. And I was brought to this school called Limblom Math and Science Academy, which is one of the top 10 schools in the city of Chicago. And when I got to that particular school, there was a problem
377811110.
When I got,
I don't know what that was. Go ahead, sir.
When I got to that particular school, the Chicago Public Schools management had an issue. They had an issue with just my name being on the list with one of the candidates, pardon me. So they put up a lot of interference to try to prevent me from being the principal of this particular school. But the local school council, which is the governing body of the school, the local school council voted, just like they voted for my predecessors, and they voted to make me the principal of the school. And when they voted to make Abdul Muhammad the principal of the school, then the Chicago Public Schools leadership lost their mind and did everything within their power to get the local school council to change their decision. The local school council stood by their decision. And when the local school council stood by their decision, then they decided to use a false investigation to have me removed from the school. And this happened shortly after I was selected.
Yeah, you want to take a call?
To be the principal of this particular school.
Give us another few minutes before we bring a caller in.
Okay.
And again, callers, I want you to call in, but give us another 5 or 10 minutes because I do want a base to kind of be laid on what our very important guest has to lay out. Go ahead and continue, Brother Abdul.
So thank you. Once I got to Limblom, they launched a biased, one-sided investigation with a predetermined outcome. So Lindblom is a black school, 75% black. It's in a neighborhood in Chicago called Inglewood. And this is a black community in Chicago. So the school is in a black community. The school is a predominantly black school. And the local school council is made up of the community. So the local school council is black as well. The issue with Lindblom, because it's a selective enrollment school, the staff is 95% white. Lindblom never had a black principal since the school reopened in 2005. They did not have a black principal. So I was the first black principal since the school reopened in 2005. And wow. I'm a Muslim. And of course, I'm never going to hide the fact that I'm a Muslim. My name is Abdul Muhammad. I'm always going to be Abdul Muhammad. If I walked into Lindblom with lipstick and a dress on, the white liberals in Chicago would not have a problem. They would be celebrating the fact that Abdul Muhammad walked in with lipstick and a dress, but I walked in with a suit and a bow tie. And these same people lost their minds and did everything within their power in this one-sided investigation with a predetermined outcome to have me removed from the school. So they colluded with some of the white teachers at the school, 7 white teachers, and there was a black school clerk that was involved in the madness as well. So they colluded with Chicago Public Schools management and came up with over 83 lies and used those 83 lies in this one-sided investigation to have me removed from the school. I know your audience is saying, well, what kind of lies did they tell? So one of the lies that they told out of the 83 that we were able to pull out of this false report, they said, well, you know, Mr. Muhammad took a student to the gas station across the street to go buy snacks, right? So when you read the report, it literally says in the report that the student left the school to go buy snacks. I was nowhere to be found in this student. You know, we talking about high school, right? High school students, if there's a gas station across the street, they're going to go get some Flamin' Hots. They're going to go get some Now Laters. They're going to go get some juice. But the CPS management was so eager to paint me as some person that was doing something wrong that they lied and said that I took a student, a high school student, go figure, across the street to the gas station to go buy snacks. So these are some of the lies that were told. One of the teachers lied and said we had a snowstorm in Chicago on December 22nd, 2022. And of course, when there's a big snow, it was the first snowstorm of the year. So people are late to school, staff is late, students are late. So one of the teachers lied and said, well, Mr. Muhammad came in after 8 o'clock and didn't do anything to help with the students. So then when we pulled the records of when everybody swiped in, that I swiped in at 7:46 and that teacher swiped in at 7:47. But the Chicago Public Schools Law Department, again, took everything that these white teachers said, did not do an investigation, and came with their predetermined outcome. One of the reasons that the white teachers were so eager to remove me or have me removed with their lies is because when I came there, I found it was just a bed of corruption at one of the so-called top schools in Chicago. What type of corruption? My first day there, I walked in the building and there were 15 people working and there were 0 students in the building. So I walk in the building my first day, my immediate supervisor is there. So I see the 15 people. I know if I see the 15 people, he sees the 15 people. The building was under construction and they had 15 people working. They were just riding the clock is what they were doing, getting paid to do nothing. So I asked the school clerk, I said, well, who are these people and what is their responsibility over the summer when there's no students in the building? That was my first day on the job. My second day, maybe second or third day, I asked the assistant principal, I said, well, are teachers working over the summer? They had maybe 20 teachers working over the summer, right? Which is fine because teachers work over the summer and they do remote work. And I said, okay, well, I need all the teachers who are working over the summer to put their work in this Google folder so that we can justify paying them, because you can't pay people who've done no work. So when I started asking these types of questions, then the people who were getting paid to do nothing, you know, for them, it's a red flag, right? Now, I don't know. When you come new to a place, you don't know. Like, I don't know that this corruption is going on. I'm just trying to do my job. So no work was ever deposited into this folder, but money was deposited into these white teachers' bank accounts, right? So that's corruption number 2, right? And there was many things that were going on. As I'm going through the school year, I go to a football game, the homecoming game. I went to other games, but I go to the homecoming game, and it's a huge crowd at the homecoming game. And a brother who I hired as a consultant, who was a retired athletic director, because why did I bring him on? Because there are 3 areas when a principal is in a school, there are 3 areas that you have to pay close attention to, because these 3 areas will get you in the most trouble. 1 is dealing with money, 2 is dealing with special education, and 3 is dealing with sports. And you need quality people in all 3 of those areas. And since I knew that I was a target of Chicago Public Schools, I made sure that I had a person in each one of those areas so that we were doing everything by the book. So I get to the homecoming game, and there's all these people at the homecoming game. Again, I'm the new principal. The brother who I brought in as to help me to make sure everything was being done right in the athletics department, he said, "Brother, did you get a receipt for the ticket sales from the homecoming?" I said, "A receipt?" So that was it was either a Friday or a Saturday. That Monday, I emailed the school clerk, the black school clerk. Her name is LaConda McDaniel. And I emailed the athletic director named Christina Davis. And I asked them, where is the records or the money from the homecoming game? Because the money hadn't been turned in. Now, keep in mind, the money's supposed to be turned in 24 hours after the event per Chicago Public Schools policy. So the money hadn't been turned in. So I send the email, and you know, they come back with some half-hearted response, right? And so no money was turned in for the homecoming. So they come up with some little fake report, right? They did after the fact, right? Because I'm asking for the homecoming report. So they do a fake report after the fact, and they say, well, it's only $400. Now, I was at the game, and it was so many people, and it's only $400. This is ridiculous, right? But what I didn't have was the evidence of any wrongdoing. So it hit me that, well, the homecoming game was the 5th game of the season. So then I asked the question, well, where's the money from the other 4 games, right? So I don't go to them and ask them, where's the money? So what I do, I get all my ducks in a row. I reach out to the stadium director. I get the stadium report that has the record of how many tickets are sold. So I get all the actual facts. Before I bring them into my office for a meeting, I bring them in, and I asked them the question, LaConda McDaniel and Christina Davis. I said, where is the money from the previous football games? And they said to my face, there is no money. I said, where is the money from the previous football games? They said to my face, there is no money. So then I pulled out the stadium report and gave each one of them a copy. And I said, where is the money from the football games? LaConda McDaniel, she didn't say anything. Christina Davis says, well, that's my money. That's your money. Yeah, I brought money to make change. That's my money. So come to find out, they were stealing the money from the sporting events. And teachers were now she's not the only one. She's the one that the law department used to come against me. That's why we exposed her. But she wasn't the only teacher at Lindblom that had the black student and parents' money in their personal bank accounts. Now, you know, Brother Daryl, I have the email records where a teacher emailed me and said, we asked her, where's the money for the fundraiser? and it was over $5,000. And I have the email where this lady said it's in my personal bank account. Christina Davis was still in the sports money. We had teachers doing illegal fundraisers, putting money in their personal bank accounts, spending money while they're doing the fundraisers. And I was the one that got investigated by Chicago Public Schools. So this was just some of the corruption that I met when I came to this school. The same athletic director, when I got there, had 37 coaches out of compliance with the Illinois High School Sports Association. 37, brother. This is insanity. 30. So again, the brother who I brought on to make sure I was doing everything right. We're in the office. We log into IHSA because now I'm at a new school. So I log in under this new school. I log in and it's 37 coaches out of compliance. They're already in the football season and the football coaches are out of compliance with the state. And that woman was not investigated for stealing money, for having 37 coaches out of compliance. This same woman covered up student injuries. There were 4 cheerleaders that were injured. She covered up the student injuries. Chicago Public Schools did not investigate her. Chicago Public Schools investigated the man that was exposing the corruption that was taking place at this school called Lindblom.
Wow, man, that is something. And so I guess the innocent person was the only person that was attacked by the law department and other aspects or other departments of Chicago Public School. Now, I want to mention that this is a problem across the United States where effective educational Black leadership that is having a positive impact on Black children is systematically removed for bogus reasons. That happens in East Baton Rouge Parish, where I reside. That's happening all over the place. It's happening in Jefferson Parish,
Absolutely.
where people in my own family are being harassed because they're making an impact on the education of Black children. And so when they, how long do you, what was the process by which they removed you? They came with a bunch of allegations, I guess, throwing as much on the wall and seeing what'll stick. So what approach did they take to wickedly remove you?
So when the LSC stood up behind their choice of me as the principal, the first thing that the Chicago Public Schools management did, specifically a woman named Felicia Sanders, she's Black, and a woman named Allison Tingwall, who is white. So Felicia Sanders wrote a letter shortly after I was appointed the interim principal of Lindblom. She wrote a letter to the entire school community, pretty much throwing me under the bus, right?
You want me to hold off phone call, Brother Daryl?
Brother Abdul, would you like to take a call?
Yeah, we can take a call. I'll finish this point, then we'll go to a call. So Felicia Sanders wrote a letter to undermine my leadership.
Let him call back.
This was one of 3 letters that was written. So there was they have a playbook that they use. There's an article in a newspaper called the Chicago Reader that was written in 2009. And the name of the article is How to Get Rid of a CPS Principal, How to Get Rid of a Chicago Public Schools Principal. And they have a step-by-step playbook that they use, and they use that step-by-step playbook on your brother. So this is not the first time, nor the last time. And I have to say this so people are clear. When this process happened, there was no, when this investigation, there was no due process. They didn't say, well, Mr. Muhammad, you did this. Do you have any evidence of what you did or that you're innocent? That's not what happened. They removed me from the school. They didn't tell me what I did. I have an email from a human resources director that says, well, yeah, we'll let you know what you did in 2 or 3 weeks. Like, that's insanity, you know? And then we had to sue them. We had to sue them or threaten to sue them for defamation if they did not release the report of what I did. Then when they released the report, we found that it was a bunch of lies. So the rabbit hole is deep, but I need your listeners to understand that these are the extents that they will go to remove an educator that is effective and has a track record of effectiveness for Black children. Every department in Chicago public schools came together, united as a team, to remove me from this school. It was the law department, it was the Office of LSC Relations, it was the Office of Network Support, it was the OIG, it was the CEO, it was CTU, Chicago Teachers Union member. So all of these departments in Chicago public schools work together in unison to remove your brother from the school. Now, we have to be critical thinkers. These people do not work together like that to make sure that Black children can read and write. These people do not work together like that to stop the fights in the school. Chicago loses $20 million a year in lost and stolen equipment. But all of these departments don't come together to save the taxpayers $20 million a year in lost and stolen equipment, but they will come together to remove a Black man that's educating Black children. These departments don't come together to stop these teachers from molesting children in the school, but they did come together to stop a Black man that was properly educating Black children.
All right, brother director, do you have that caller?
Yes. Yes, right. We got a caller.
Let the caller go ahead and
caller go ahead.
Question. Hey, great topic again, brother.
Says caller.
You started off with education is broken.
Caller, go ahead.
Education is not broken.
Yeah, he's on. I can hear him.
Can you hear me now, brother Jay?
Yeah, go ahead, brother Kevin.
Brother Daryl, you started off with the education system is broken. It's not broken. It's just like the justice system. It is designed to do what it is.
I'm not hearing the caller.
Indoctrination.
I can hear him.
Yeah, we can hear him.
Yeah, brother Abdul and I can hear him.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead, caller.
The thing is that we rather be educated than liberated. That's our biggest problem. And Jamal, you're a threat to white supremacy system because you are Muslim. This is why they're finding Black people to go against you. This is why we can't succeed in getting our children their African culture to be taught to them. You know, every time we start doing something that's changing the narrative, this whole government system being used by the Black people are the ones that they're going to send after to get you. So the biggest problem that we are having is we don't need these people. But yet still, we always think we need them. We always think we got to be under their supervision. Like we need their white intervention. And that's the biggest problem. Our own Black council, you did say it was the Black council members and all the Black people that got a little bit power until that white master comes show them what they got to put in their face for you to get discredited. Now the biggest thing that I'm trying to see, what I done heard you say, Brother Jamal or Abdul, is that you just don't know how much of a favor they did to you. Because these white people don't want our children to learn about themselves. See, y'all are educated. Y'all can talk about the truth. Indoctrination means they got to keep the narrative of lies going. And that's our biggest problem. We got Black faces in high places getting the same ideology from the white faces. So if you keep on being who you are going to be truly blessed. It's just that they don't want us to wake up because we are the people that they have to keep in the dark. This is why when you hear these white folks going crazy about CRT and all, and not knowing it's helping their little white children who are depressed and stressed too. Because without us, there is no them. And our biggest problem is our Black indoctrinated people. And I'm going to repeat it, indoctrinated, not educated. They have been trained by these white folk and put in these kind of positions just to dilute what a man like you was trying to do. So do not feel bad of what they're trying to do, make you feel like you're the problem. No, it's those Black people that they put in those places over the Black schools. And then that's not a Black school. It's a white school that's predominantly got Black children going to it.
That's right.
So never forget that. We always thinking that because it's a Black population that they're run. If we can't teach our children their culture, it's not a Black school.
Come on, that's
right.
Our
Black representatives got to stand up and step up to that, and we got to expose them. So call out those names. make you some flyers. All those black sellouts that they got on the board was handpicked by these white folks to make sure a man like you can't come and disturb the narrative of indoctrination, making our children believe they
we
have
got another call on the line.
Lines
are lit up right now.
All right, go ahead and let's get the other caller.
Hello, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, you on.
While we're waiting on the caller, I don't want to forget to ask your viewing audience to visit the website. We have a website, justiceforabdulmuhammad.com. We want you all to visit this website, justiceforabdulmuhammad.com. If you type it into the Google, it's going to pop right up, justiceforabdulmuhammad.com. It should be on the screen somewhere, but the website is justiceforabdulmuhammad.com. When you get to this website, what we want you all to do is scroll down to the bottom of the website, because we want you to take action. There's a section on the website called Take Action. And on that section, there is a link that says send letter to the board. And we're asking all of the viewers, it'll take you less than 30 seconds. If you go on justiceforabdulmuhammad.com, scroll to the section at the bottom called Take Action, and click on the link to send a letter to the Board of Education. Your email is going to populate, and all you have to do is click send. You don't have to write no letter. You don't have to edit. You don't have to worry about punctuation. All you have to do is go on justiceforabdulmuhammad.com, scroll down to the bottom in the section that says Take Action, click that link, and then click send. We're trying to send letters to the Board of Education. It takes you less than 30 seconds to make that happen.
Absolutely. And we definitely Justice for Abdul.
Go ahead, caller.
Go ahead, caller.
Yes, Brother G, you could hear me?
Yes, they could hear you.
Okay, yes, again, a superb program, as usual. Brother Abdul, I've known you for years, and you've always been firm, intellectual, and know your history about our people. I wanted to mention briefly that even though you had some of these blacks that's involved with the line, they couldn't achieve what they achieved without white superiority.
Absolutely. No, you 100% correct. You know, that is 100% correct. The the Negroes were acting at the instruction of white people. So that's what happened. And like the previous caller said, that's what has always happened, But the CEO of Chicago Public Schools at the time, his name is Pedro Martinez. Of course, he was part of it. He was number one. Second in command, her name is Bogdana. She was part of it. Third in command in CPS, her name is Felicia Sanders, who's black. She was part of it. But you had all of these different people in these different departments making sure that a black man was not in a position to be able to properly educate black children. The thing that they did not realize is that when they came against me, that I was going to stand up and fight. And so that's what I'm doing. And that's why we're asking you all to go on the website, justiceforabdulmuhammad.com. Since we stood up to fight, we have changed the narrative around what has happened. As you can see in the background, we had a cover article in every newspaper in Chicago. Not the Tribune, but the Sun-Times, of course, the Final Call newspaper, the Chicago Defender. All of them covered what happened. And many, as Brother Daryl said earlier, many of the podcasts and independent black grassroots media have covered what's been going on with the black educators in Chicago, with Vicky Dillard and Brother Phil from African Diaspora Network. So what we've done, because we decided not to lay down, to stand up and fight, we've changed the whole narrative of what has happened. I need y'all to understand that this is not just about one person. In 1 year, Chicago Public Schools removed 10 black principals. I'm going to say that again. In 1 year, Chicago Public Schools removed 10 black principals, not just me. So there were 9 other black principals. Of these 10, 8 were black men and 2 were black women. So they only in the last year they only removed 12 principals, and 10 were black. Are you saying that black people are so incompetent that we can't run a school? Is that what you're saying? Absolutely not. No. What they do is they decide which people they want to remove, and the people they remove are the ones that are having the greatest success with black children in the city of Chicago. With all of the problems that you all see down in Louisiana about Chicago and the young people in Chicago, they should be fighting to get black educators in the school instead of fighting to get black educators out of the school, unless it's just like our brother said, unless this is exactly what they want, so that our children cannot get a proper education. But brothers and sisters, we did not lay down when the enemy came after us. We stood up and we fought them. And this is why the changes have been taking place, and we're to continue to fight them. And the lies that they told.
We have a caller.
Done to black educators here in the city.
Caller, you on the line?
All right, go ahead,
I am. Can I go ahead and speak?
Go ahead. You're good.
Hello? Okay, great. Brother Daryl, always good to have you. Your show is something that we always look forward to. Good to see you. To the brother Abdul, I hope he can hear this, Brother Jay. Can you hear it? Can Abdul hear me? Good.
Yes,
yeah, we can hear
Brother Abdul, I want to take you on a short little journey. And Brother Daryl, come on this journey with me and Brother Abdul. Brother Jay, you too, all of us.
Well, guys, keep in mind, we only have
in Chicago, let me speak. In Chicago, you have the PUSH organization, which is an organization that I guess I would say was started by our brother, who is a well-known brother. You know, our brother who founded the PUSH organization. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about him. He founded that PUSH organization, and every Saturday it comes on television, and it does this promotion thing, and it is exclusive. And it's been doing things in Chicago for many years. And with that said, the brother that I'm talking about, y'all know who he is. He ran for president and everything else. Well, with that said, you are talking about you are in need of some people that can support you in what you're going through. Well, that's an organization in Chicago that's so massive and big with the numbers. Then go to him and get them involved too on this. Brother, let me share something with y'all. All I can say is we are going through this, and we have to stick together in order to achieve and to succeed. You know, Malcolm, Morton and them all went through this too. And all they did, in my opinion, was they stood together, they walked together, they spoke when they needed to speak, and they stood up for everything, and they didn't back down from anything. Guys, all I'm going to tell you, young man, is it feels as though you're being picked out, you're being attacked. With that said, all of the things y'all said about what they're doing through education, it's unbelievable. Well, look the funny parts about this. You talk about they're going to remove I'm making the point. Here's the main point.
That caller is not clear. But
yeah, here's the main point. The last point I want to make to the brother is this. Young man, all I'm going to tell you is you're young, and you got a bright future, and you got a long ways to go. This is the challenge that you were supposed to face in your lifetime now. It's time that you get tested, and you and us and all of us are all being tested. The thing is, will we quit? Will we give up? Or will we stand strong, shoulder to shoulder, and to say no to this evil? Guys, this is an easy win. This is an easy win. All we got to do is stand strong together and fight together. Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right. So, well, Brother Abdul, I'm gonna go ahead and let you speak to what he said, because I do believe that you may have had some interaction with.
Oh yeah, we brother, thank you for your words, and we have met with the vast majority of leaders in Chicago, political leaders, spiritual leaders. Reverend Jesse Jackson is one of the leaders that we met with. I spoke at Rainbow Push at his Saturday event multiple times regarding what has happened with the Black principles. So I don't want you to think that we haven't worked to build a coalition. This is a fight that I've been fighting for 3 years against Chicago public schools. And we've sat down with pretty much everybody in the city to right the wrongs of what happened with the Black principles. Everybody is not as strong as others, but we have sat down with them. So I was at Operation Push multiple times to talk with Reverend Jackson and Push and myself, as well as some of the other Black principals were featured on his Saturday show.
Brother Abdul, you also conversed with the present mayor before and subsequent to his election. Is that correct?
All the times were after he got elected, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, but we did have that conversation. You know, the thing about Black leadership is they have to act on behalf of Black people. And the problem that we run into, as the brothers stated, you have Black leaders that do not respond to what is needed and ask for from the Black community. You know, I don't know how anybody can see that 10 Black educators were railroaded and there's not a bigger outcry than, and not that it wasn't an outcry, but a bigger outcry, I would say.
That's right.
But no, we have worked with and talked to and built relationships with everyone. If you look in we had the press conference here in Chicago on May 18th of 2023 with Father Flager at Father Flager's church. Then we had the press conference with Attorney Crump here in Chicago that made the story national news regarding the Black educators in the city of Chicago. So we definitely have put in that work. We have our state representative. I'm trying to remember state senator, pardon me, Willie Preston, who his daughter was a student at Limballoon when I was there, and that's how we built this relationship. And State Senator Willie Preston carried a bill on behalf of all principals, not just Black principals, all principals, HB 297, that gave the principals more rights. So we have been fighting this fight, and we have had victories, and we built relationships with all the people, with preachers, with politicians, with everybody.
So your situation and your struggle has actually caused legislation to be passed.
Yeah, this struggle, the State Senator Willie Preston carried the bill because when I met with him, he asked me, what can I do to support you and support the Black principals? We set up a meeting, and in that meeting, he said that he would carry this bill, and the governor signed this into law about maybe 3 months ago at this time, 2 or 3 months ago at this time. So we have had victories in this fight. You know, the major victory is when Allah blesses us and blesses me to win this lawsuit that we have launched against Chicago public schools.
Absolutely. Now we only have about 1 minute left. I of course want to thank you for coming through. And of course, there were so many calls and we couldn't get to all of them because you had to kind of lay a base, because this is a whole wicked narrative that's been against you. But I want to personally thank you for rolling through. And I also want to invite you to come back anytime you would like to update on what's going on. And all of this is valuable information for our people everywhere, that this is happening to Black principals, Black educators, and that there is a system in place to take away anybody that would do our children the kind of good that they need to have.
That's right.
So I want to thank you, of course, for your.
No, thank you, my brother. And I just want to say one last time, if you all could visit the website, justiceforabdulmuhammad.com, justiceforabdulmuhammad.com. You can scroll to the bottom in the section called Take Action. Click the link and send that letter to the Board of Education. It'll only take you 30 seconds to visit justiceforabdulmuhammad.com and send that letter.
And I did it on my phone months ago. It may be 20 seconds.
Yes, sir.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Community Defender, and we'll be right back again with another installment of Louisiana's most hard-hitting show. God bless. Assalamu alaikum. See you soon.